and welcome to a new video and vlog, and today we're gonna take a look at the first day on board of the AIDAdiva that I showed you in my last video. We're actually starting one day earlier, my arrival in Warnemünde, and on the first day on board we are heading to Norway. I arrived in Warnemünde one day earlier by train. We will see a video about the train ride, but that will only be uploaded in a couple of months as this will be in the chronological order, and I just took these videos forward to show you the new AIDAdiva. Before heading on board, I stayed one night in a very famous hotel, the Hotel Neptun, the most famous hotel of Rostock in Warnemünde, and it was a dream of mine to stay there. So I booked a room there and I decided to go for a slightly more expensive room at the upper floors where I have a fantastic view over Warnemünde. And I actually didn't know that, but AIDAdiva was arriving one day earlier, and there was a huge port party for her arrival and also for the sail away tomorrow together with AIDA Ma. So here we can see this wonderful ship arriving into the port of Warnemünde, accompanied by a fire ship with a fountain, as it was her first arrival in Warnemünde after the AIDA Evolution program. And of course the ship itself was also greeting the city with a ship's horn. That was quite fantastic to just sit on my balcony and enjoy watching my cruise ship going into the port, so I could take, of course, some nice shots and pictures. And it was a great atmosphere in the city. There were thousands of people watching the ship going into port. The passengers were on their balconies waving with towels. There was a live band ashore. Of course, we had the fireboat with the fountain, and all the time AIDAdiva was blowing her ship's horn, so there was a fantastic sound all over the city. It was just a fantastic and wonderful moment. AIDAdiva is now sailing past the cruise terminal to turn in the port and then return and dock at Warnemünde cruise terminal. And of course always blowing her ship's horn. Here we can see the fireboat again, which was adjoining her all the way until she reached her docking location. Now she's just in front of her docking location, but she has to go to the port of Rostock, where there is enough space to turn around, and then she can dock in the right direction, already facing the Baltic Sea again. And in the meantime, it was time for me to have dinner at the broiler bar in my hotel, and after that I went straight back up to the balcony to watch some more ships going into port, as there are also a lot of ferries in Rostock, Warnemünde, and there was a fantastic light in the evening hours. It was a wonderful atmosphere and there were quite a lot of interesting ships going in and out of the port, so I was spending quite a lot of time on my balcony. Also the beautifully illuminated AIDAdiva was a beautiful sight, and when it got dark outside there was even more program. The live band was still playing the port party, and there was also a small laser show. Of course it was quite far away, so that was not perfect to watch from my balcony, but at least I could see a little bit of it. But as you can see, at some points some of the laser beams were coming all the way up to my balcony, so I was a bit worried about my camera, so I decided to just peek out of the window every now and then, because it was not that spectacular to see from the balcony. For this I should have been in the port, but of course I wanted to enjoy my beautiful room, so I decided to stay there and just enjoy the view over Warnemünde at night. As you can see here, it's also looking very, very beautiful. That's it for the first day, and now we're coming to first day on board of AIDAdiva. I woke up very early in the morning because I had the room facing directly in the direction of the sunrise. So I woke up for sunrise, enjoyed the sunrise, and then I went back to sleep. And I also already saw AIDA Ma just peeking around the corner, and after going to sleep again, both ships were docked at a cruise terminal, the AIDAdiva and her slightly bigger sister AIDA Ma. After breakfast, it was time to leave the wonderful Hotel Neptun and head to the cruise terminal, because once again I've booked the first possible time slot. 12 o'clock I was allowed to go on board. At the terminal I had to wait for a while in front of the terminal because I was a bit too early, but as soon as the embarkation started it went very fast, even though the terminal is not that well equipped. Check-in took place at high tables and was done on a laptop, but it worked quite fast and I was quite fastly in my inside cabin. Here we can see it. Also, the cabins have been renovated on board of the AIDAdiva as part of the AIDA Evolution program. The cabins received, for example, a new carpet, new furniture, they received new colors, new canopy. The bathroom stayed more or less the same because it's still quite nice and modern, but it received a new mirror with nice lighting. We still have a very big wardrobe with a lot of storage space, that's also pretty good. As you can see, a lot of space there, so it's also suitable for a longer cruise. We have a desk with power sockets. It now also comes with a makeup mirror. We have a hairdryer, of course. What's also new is there is now a light with a motion sensor next to the bed, and there are power sockets now on both sides of the bed. So there are also quite a few updates and upgrades in the cabin. The cabin itself is also very nice. After that it was time to do the digital safety drill, and after that I went to Best Pizza at Sea for a nice lunch, and after that it was also time for the regular safety drill. As I had already done the digital safety drill, I didn't have to participate in the regular safety drill, so I could go straight to the sun deck, watch other ships going into the port like the Mecklenburg-Vorpommern of Stena Line, and then it was time for another highlight of the cruise. As you can see, there were a lot of people ashore waiting for our ship to leave, because we were leaving together with AIDA Ma. All passenger ships that were available in and around Warnemünde were there to join us during the sail away. Here we can see my Hotel Neptun again. And after this freight ship was sailing past us, it was time for us to leave. The fire ship was here again, greeting us with a fountain once again, and that was even more magical because there was a rainbow, as you can see. So it was just breathtakingly beautiful. I've never experienced it in person. Of course, it is a maritime tradition to greet a new ship with a water fountain, but still I've never seen it in person, so that was a very special moment for me and I really enjoyed that. And it was also very special to see all these people ashore to watch my ship sailing away, so that was a quite special feeling. And of course we also had a suitable sound for that. It was very nice to see all those small ships blowing their horn for us whilst we were sailing out of the secret home port of AIDA. Of course, AIDA's ships are registered in Italy as they are part of the Costa Group, but the company AIDA is based in Rostock and Warnemünde is part of Rostock, so this is the secret home port of the AIDA ships, and that's why there are so many people watching. We're now leaving the port and I will now let you enjoy the fantastic view. Here we have left the port, and also AIDA was following directly behind us, and of course also she was bidding her farewell to Warnemünde. We then overtook the fireboat and sailed out onto the Baltic Sea, but there was another highlight because now we were going parallel with the AIDA. AIDA was heading east whilst we were heading northwest to Norway, and also we met an oncoming ferry, the ferry from Getza called Copenhagen and Berlin. They are looking quite special because they have a so-called Flettner rotor, which is working just like a sail. The wind is turning this huge tube and that is generating electricity and power, as you can see here. So as I said, we were sailing out of Warnemünde together with the AIDA, then we were sailing parallel with her. The pilot was leaving our ship, pilot boat was then going to AIDA, picking up the pilot there, and then we were sailing parallel for quite a while, so it was a fantastic opportunity to take some nice pictures of the sister ship of AIDAdiva, the AIDA, and I will now let you enjoy this beautiful view. Then it was time for dinner, and just like on AIDA Nova, also here I decided to not have any buffet style dinner. Instead, today I went into the Almhütte and enjoyed a Bavarian and Alpine dinner. In the meantime, we sailed past the island of Fehmarn. Here you can see the ferries between Fehmarn and Denmark. And then it was time for another wonderful and beautiful sunset. I tried to get a place here on deck 14, but I was of course not the only one who wanted to watch this wonderful sunset, but I found a place, of course. I was able to take a few nice shots and pictures, and then it was time for the opening of the AIDA Sparkling Wine Buffet, and of course the famous greeting that is traditional on all AIDA cruises. Sie haben Urlaub means you are on vacation, and it's a traditional start of each cruise with AIDA, and after that the AIDA Stars, the show ensemble, are starting with a show where they are presenting themselves, introducing themselves. It was a fantastic show, and after that it was already time for me to go to sleep, as it was a very long day with a lot of highlights, so I was quite tired, but of course it was a wonderful and remarkable day. That's it for the first day on board of AIDAdiva. Here you can see when the next video will be uploaded and the name of the song. As always, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to comment, like, subscribe or share the video link, and I hope to see you in my next video then.